whiskey drinking man. I drink every day.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. We're the Whiskey Watchers. I'm Dan.
I'm Jake.
And Jake, 2022 is behind us, and we got some stinkers to talk about.
Yeah, we've got a few fallen brethren that we're going to talk about.
And by fallen, you mean if we could get into a DeLorean today with Doc Brown.
There's a few other places I'd visit first, but yeah, this place would be one of them.
Get this thing up to 88 miles an hour and head back, well, to the past. Can't go back to the future with these because, well, we're talking about whiskeys that we would leave in 2022 if we could, right here today on the Whiskey Watchers. And in no particular order, we just found 5 bottles that we've tried over the past year that were released and we didn't like.
For various reasons.
For various reasons. It could be just the flavor of the whiskey that's in the bottle. It could be the price point versus
be the smell.
Yeah, it could be the smell. But yeah, usually it'll generally come down to the quality of the whiskey in the bottle we just didn't care for, or the price point at which we had to purchase the bottle doesn't really line up with the flavor of the whiskey in the bottle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't pay a lot of money for a fancy pants presentation and then nothing good inside.
The problem is I'm one of those people. I'm like, ooh,
look at that.
That's a beautiful bottle. I better buy that.
Sometimes I do that, but that's with different items. It's usually not whiskey because I look at it and go, man, someday I'm going to drink all that and then it's going to be gone.
Yep.
And some of those memories I won't even have.
So let's get started here, and I'm going to throw one out really quick. The first one on this list, we'll just leave them out here for people to look at, too.
I'm going to take a drink.
The first one that I want to point out comes from the Jim Beam Distilling Company, a.k.a. James B. Beam Distilling Company, and that is the Colonel James B. Beam. This is the Hardins Creek Colonel James B. Beam, aged 2 years, my friend.
With a fancy leather belt. Would you look at that?
With a fancy... I think this is more or less pleather. I don't think this is real... I mean,
it keeps your cap up. That's the main thing.
You're the country boy. Tell me. He's the country man.
No, that's real leather.
Oh, it's real leather?
Yeah.
I'll be darned. Yeah. No wonder the dang bottle was so expensive. So when this released, I was really hype on these, the Hardins Creek releases.
Yeah, you were.
I got to try the Jacob's Well, I think it was 14-year.
The good one?
It was really good. I got to try it at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, and I tried to bring a bottle home, but they were sold out for the day. So I wasn't able to pick one up. But upon returning home, I did find the Colonel James B. Beam, and it is all but disappointing to me. Not only its given price point, but the flavors in the bottle.
What did you even pay for it anyway?
I paid $89.99.
Woo!
$90 for a 2-year-old bourbon.
Yeah, and it's what, 108 proof?
It's 108 proof, and
I think I can get Weller cheaper.
I get the story. They're harking back to Colonel James B. Beam distilling after Prohibition had ended and had been repealed. So this is coming off of the still at a lower proof, and they're just trying to show that a lower proof whiskey aged for less time can still have those beautiful bourbon characteristics of a higher aged bourbon that we know as a quality bourbon. And in this one, I think they failed.
I think generally when they do that, if you're going to do it, though, you need to put it in a smaller barrel so that way you get that expansion and contraction a little bit quicker.
Yeah. A smaller barrel probably would have done this a little bit more. Yeah. But, yeah. So what do you got over there?
Let's just go to the one that we talk about all the time.
We're finally getting to it?
Yes. Basil Hayden, Subtle Smoke. Here, let me get that right.
Yeah, just put it up right there wherever. Basil Hayden, Subtle Smoke. Another, we love Beam products. Knob Creek is extremely good.
Oh, we did two.
Even
pay attention. We did two.
Heck, even Jim Beam White Label is not the worst thing on the market.
I have a handle I like to keep around the house for good times.
It's a good whiskey. I mean, you bring your friends over, they want to try some whiskey. You don't want to get them your good stuff, so you give them some Jim Beam White Label. Hell, you can mix up Jim and Coke, whatever you want to do.
I like to get them a couple of good drinks and then give them a lort.
Oh God. So the Basil Hayden line as a whole, we're not very big fans of. Artfully aged, so there's no age statement on these at all. and they're all coming in at 80 proof. No
They
matter.
did put the fancy metal band on there,
Yeah,
but
they
that does
did.
not make
Okay.
up for the flavor.
So let's look at this bottle design really quick. Like, I don't have one of the older bottles that had like the little drapery
Yeah.
over the shoulders. This one actually looks like it belongs on a top shelf, doesn't it?
It does. Like whenever they redesigned it, I was like, "Oh snap! Is this a new release? A
Yeah.
special release?"
It
Nope,
looks-
nope, just a redesign.
It looks really good, but the whiskey inside
Does
just
not
does not
justify-
deliver. Doesn't justify a $60 price point around our area.
Maybe 30.
Subtle Smoke to me was probably the best of the worst that has come out of that line so far. Toast was not good. The red wine finish.
Didn't even try it.
He hasn't tried it. I got to try it the other day, and it just tastes like sour grape juice to me.
Oh,
So yeah, it's like if you
it's like if you drink
if
dry
you left
wine.
if you left your Welch's out in the sun too long. Yeah, with a little bit of a bourbon back end. But yeah, Subtle Smoke is one that, didn't really amaze us. I know the bottle's basically gone. We gave it every opportunity to be good,
we wanted to like a Basil Hayden product.
and that one was the one that I wanted to like, and I just couldn't do it.
That's the one we hated the least.
You're not wrong. Apart from, well, I'll get you a sample of the red wine finish, and we'll see what you think about that one.
Oh yeah.
So, moving on to our next one. My absolute, well, not really absolute, but my dislike of Dickel products. But I love Peyton Manning.
Yeah, everyone in this area does.
Everyone in this area does. We live in Indiana. Peyton Manning is kind of a staple, but his whiskey, Sweetens Cove, this is specifically the Tennessee. I wasn't a big fan of. I
thought it was all right. I mean, it wasn't great. There were other things I would prefer, but if this is on the shelf and it's like one of the best things, and then I'm like,
I don't mind the price point on this one. I got this one for $45.
exactly. That's what sells me on it.
But the mineralic elements of the Dickel distillate that is in this, I swear there's Dickel distillate in this. Just they clash with my palate. And I think I'm just one of those people that is very sensitive to that Dickel minerality that they have.
So let me ask you this. If you had to go back and buy one of these two again, which one would you buy?
I would buy the Subtle Smoke.
Really?
Yes. Because I know
Wow.
it's coming out of Beam. I like Beam products. And I
Based on
It's
flavor
just-
and price alone, for me, it is for sure the Tennessee. Because I really liked the other one. I like Sweetens Cove, but the price point just throws it so far out of whack.
$200 plus in our area for Sweetens Cove.
No thanks.
I think I've seen it as high as $250. I think like $170 at Costco.
Yeah. I think, what was it I saw it for? It was $165.10 at Sam's Club, and they had a limit of one per, and it was already gone.
Yeah, I don't know. I love you, Peyton Manning. You did amazing things while you're here in Indianapolis. You run the best no-huddle offense
Amen.
in
I can say
the
that.
NFL. But
It's the only thing I like about the man,
I wish you would have.
other than the hospitals and such.
I wish you would have chosen a distillery in Kentucky to partner with and not something in Tennessee. But I get it. You're linked to Tennessee. You're a Tennessee Vol. Go
You're a
Vols.
man. And
Manning. But Jake, you got one more over there for us to,
it's one
to hate.
that we really were excited about,
I was so stoked on this
and
one.
then it just ruined our whole time.
This is the Woodford Reserve 5 malt stouted mash. I was extremely happy to find this.
I know. I was with you, remember?
Yeah, and we were actually at a liquor barn, I think, in Kentucky when I found it. And they had just put it out on the barrel. I was like, oh, crap. I got to buy this. We need to taste it, and we need to review it on the podcast. So we did, or I did, and then we did. And this one, I don't know where they went wrong with this one. I just do not enjoy it. The nose is like wet hay.
Yeah, the nose is it's like
And-
hay with a slight fungus growing into it, but I guess that would make sense if you're going for like old. But then the flavor is just
So
there's so much going on you can't pick at it, and then they all clash super hard. And then just as quick as it's there, it's gone.
yeah, so they have. Let me see if I can find the tasting notes in this because
I
full
tried this
disclosure,
earlier today.
We tasted that earlier today just to make sure. Like we
We have a thing we'll talk about in a minute, just
So-
because we tried a couple of these.
So it's their take on crafting a spirit that exhibits the flavors of a classic beer style. In this case, a rich roasted malty stout. I get the stoutiness on the finish, but I don't get any roasted maltiness to it. I just get like wet grass and just
wet grass with a finish of chocolate.
Just a finish of chocolate, which I mean, a good stout will finish with like chocolate. Speaking of stouts, we're gonna review some stouts here in the coming weeks for you guys as we go into a little series on barrel or secondary aging, so finishing in different kinds of barrels. We might have a special guest with that one, but we'll leave you to think for a little bit. But yeah, Woodford 5 malt stout and mash. I paid $125, I think.
It's too much for how bad it tastes.
It's just too much. That's one of those that the price point mixed with the flavor of the whiskey in the bottle just didn't justify, us buying it. So the last one on the list was a late release in 2022, and everyone was hyped for it because, let's put it this way, Remus 5 was absolute fire. I love Remus 5 and everything about it, but this is Remus Repeal Reserve 6. I get it. They released Gatsby this year.
The great.
A 15-year-old MGP bourbon. Absolutely great.
It's 95% corn, 5% rye.
I didn't get to pick up a Gatsby this year. One, because I wasn't spending the $350 to $400 our stores were charging for it. But I had a friend that did, and he let me sample it, and it was so good. But this is one that I was kind of disappointed in. I know this is probably based on my thoughts of Remus 5, which when tasting these, you have to not compare them to previous batches because it's a standalone. It really is a standalone, but this one kind of fell flat for me. A lot of youthfulness, surprisingly, because it is a blend of 8, 10, and 2%, 14-year bourbon.
Look at
high rye bourbon.
Oh my gosh.
A whole 2%.
A whole 2%. That sways just the youngness out of those 8 and 10 years.
But this is one that was on the cusp for both of us, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was good. I don't.
It's more the price than anything.
If we had gotten our hands on more releases from last year, I think this one might have been booted out by a few others. But this is just what we have here in the studio, in the room.
Stuff we've tried.
And stuff we've tried. So, yeah, just the price point more or less for this one is the reasoning for putting it on the list, because I don't know how the distributorship outside of Indiana handled this release, but we were forced to not only purchase it at an inflated price, but also to purchase a bottle of George Remus with it if we wanted this bottle this year. And I think
just in case, you gotta make sure you get your big boy along with your little boy.
But I have like 5 Remuses now, and I'm never going to drink that much George Remus. I like MGP whiskey, but I'm not going to drink that much George Remus just off the cuff.
Oh, you want this Buffalo Trace? Well, you also have to buy this $170 Stag Junior with it too.
I wouldn't be mad at that though. I like that the profile of Stag.
But it's $170 Stag Junior.
That's fine. I've come to terms with the fact that sometimes if you want something bad enough, you just have to pay the money. I know it goes against things that I've said in the past, but it is what it is.
I'm good. I won't pay it.
And that is exactly your prerogative. I mean, It is what it is. But these are 5 whiskeys that we would leave in 2022 if we could. For one reason or another. I know there are other lists floating around out in Whiskey Tube and online. People are blogging about it. But these are our 5.
And we had an escapee.
And we have an escapee as of the day of this recording.
About 20 minutes ago.
The day before my birthday, was it?
I don't remember.
We were in Bardstown to celebrate my birthday this year. And, this little bugger, here, we'll just kind of throw it up here like this. So this is Blood Oath Pact 8. It's a blend of 8 and 10 year bourbons. I think the 8 year is a high rye bourbon, and it is finished in Calvados casks. So Calvados, for those of you that don't know, is, I believe, an apple brandy. And let me tell you, now that this thing has gotten some air,
oh my God, it smells like Jolly Green.
It smells like
Green Apple Jolly Ranchers.
Green Apple Jolly Ranchers.
I keep wanting to say Jolly Green Apples. I don't
Jolly
know.
Green. I almost thought you were
Not
going to
the
say Jolly Green
Greens.
Giant.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I keep going for. I don't know why. I said it 3 times when we were tasting it too. I'm just tired.
I understand, but this is one that really just kind of escaped the list and bumped Remus 6 into the list, unfortunately, because once it got some air and it developed a little bit in the bottle, and it's actually really tasty now. So originally,
much better now.
Originally, when we opened it, the high rye bourbon just did not play well at all. It was super spicy.
Didn't smell anything like that.
No, it didn't. So yeah, that's our list. Tell us what you think about it in the comment section below. Did we miss something? Obviously we did, because everyone's list is going to be different. But yeah, tell us about it in the comment section below. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And until next time, guys, I'm Dan.
I'm Jake.
Reminding you to share a pour with your friends and family, because much like movies,
memories don't make themselves.